Alright, I recently had a purple crayon of my kids that was like hiding in a pocket go through the washer and the dryer, and it ruined a batch of clothes. So in this video, I'm going to show you what to do and what not to do to get all this cleaned up. Alright, problem solution video here for you, and not only am I going to help you, but I'm going to ask for your help as well, because part of this project or this job I got figured out, but another part I did not. So stay with me, I'll explain. So here is the problem. Look at this melted wax. It basically took the whole crayon out during the wash and dry cycle, melted it down, and infused it inside the fabric. So not only was there color, for example, right there, but the surrounding part of the color had kind of this clear wax. So it was clearly an issue, and kind of ticked me off because I was really proud of myself for doing all the kids' laundries. I had a huge load going through here. My son and my daughter's co-mixed, but I was pumped, and this is what I get, right? So here's how I'm starting. I found that if you apply Dawn dish soap, and don't just watch this video and say, oh, I have to apply Dawn dish soap. Wait for the end, because we're going to see the results. And then I'm going to ask you some questions about what you would do differently. So here's what I'm doing. Spot treating each and every purple crayon saturation point with a little bit, well, quite a bit actually, of Dawn soap, just enough for it to saturate through the fabric, the front and the underside. So I'm looking at the clothes right side, turned right side in, not inside out, right? Because I don't really care too much what it looks like on the inside. So anything visible from the outside is what I am spot treating, just to keep my own workload down a little bit, since I had like 100 articles of clothing here. So in a bucket, I have some baking powder, and I'm going to boil some hot water. So the Dawn soap I had researched online somewhere through some blog, some Google search. But the baking powder just seemed kind of like a fresh idea, right? It's like a natural cleaner. And anyway, I am putting 2 huge kettlefuls of 200-degree water, or just under boiling, in other words, into the bucket. By the way, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, do lots of home projects around the house, and don't forget to share this with somebody. So let me put the dirty crayon-stained laundry back into the washer, and let me show you how I'm attempting to do this. I'm taking, remember there's Dawn soap, and I let that sit for like 5 to 10 minutes. And now I'm taking the boiling water with the baking powder or baking soda, whichever the two it is. I will verify that and put things down in the in the description below, like I usually do. All the supplies and good stuff down there. And I am going to put it on a pre-soak. I'm just going to let it sit for 15 minutes. All right, and then I will turn on the washer. So I let it sit in that boiling water and that soap for 15 minutes. All right, and then using hot water, I'm running it through the wash again. While we're waiting, before we put it into the dryer again, check this out. This is the dryer, and it kind of lodged itself up there and then smeared itself all over the inside of the dryer. So what a nightmare situation this is. And it's like, room temperature now, so it's a matter of like chiseling and scraping. It just doesn't wipe off. So utility knife, with confidence I can say this is the recommended cleanup. Take a utility knife and gently scrape out without cutting any part of the dryer, obviously, or the seal, but using the flat edge of the utility knife to scrape that out as best as you can. Then I've got a dust buster with a hard bristled brush on the end of it, so that helps loosen as well. So it's this idea of scratch and then suck it up with the bristled brush, and the bristled brush helps to lift up some of it as well. There's actually been some staining, it looks like, some light purple staining on the actual smooth interior. So I have some water and a washcloth, and I'm getting that up. And here's a better tip for you. I've got some of this degreaser stuff. It's like crud cutter, I think it's called. And look at that. That does a pretty good job of lifting up the melted crayon. So less elbow grease there. So water and washcloth if you want to scrub a little bit, or if you have this degreaser stuff, makes life a little bit easier for some of those flat surfaces and corners. So that is how you get the inside back to normal. And then make sure you look around to make sure you've got all of it. You don't want it melting and going through. Okay, so the wash cycle is done, and the idea was that hot water and the dish soap was able to melt everything out of there. So let's get out the article of clothing, just one for example, and see. Oh, we've got a little bit there, but for reference, I'm not sure. Let's grab this one. I know this one was pretty bad. All right, so check this out. It actually did not lift that much out. It got some of that clear melted wax around the purple spot, but the purple is still there. So what did I do wrong? I have no idea. If you know, do me a favor and put a comment down below, a suggestion for us to help us out, because this one stumped me.